we'll open up the regular meeting. Do we need to call the roll again for the regular meeting?
We should do that, yes.
All right, let's call the roll for the regular meeting.
Okay, Member Drucker,
Yes.
Vice Chair Patel,
Here.
Chair Becker.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, we don't need to do the flag salute again. So let's move on to board member comments or announcements. I see nothing, and we have no presentations today. Do we have any public comment?
We have no public comments.
All right, brings us to, do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes? I'll go ahead and move. Okay, I'll second. Call for the vote.
Member Drucker,
Yes.
Vice Chair Patel,
Yes.
Chair Becker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, we are on to the consent calendar. We have one item on the consent calendar, the treasurer's report.
I'll move that.
Second.
Very good. Call for the vote.
Member Drucker,
Yes.
Vice Chair Patel,
Yes.
Chair Becker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We're on to new business. Item number 2, the Clean Energy Alliance. We need to take out interim on that so we can hear the Chief Executive Officer's operational, administrative, and regulatory affairs update. Take it away.
Thank you, Chair Becker. And I don't have a presentation for my portion, but I would like to focus my comments on what's happening with regards to Clean Energy Alliance expansion into new service territories. So we've had interest, most recently from cities who are interested in joining Clean Energy Alliance. That includes the city of Escondido. And the most recent news is that the City Council of the city of Escondido did have on their agenda at their meeting last night consideration of joining Clean Energy Alliance and bringing community choice to their community in 2023. That recommendation did pass the city of Escondido with a 5-0 unanimous vote. And their ordinance to establish a CCA will be have their second reading at the second meeting in November, which would be November the 9th. It looks November the 9th, November the 10th. Next week, they will consider the appointment of their board member. And so we'll know the board member and alternate that will be representing the city of Escondido. Escondido would essentially double our size with regards to load. And they'll be a great fit for Clean Energy Alliance. And we look forward to having them join us on the board and starting to plan for their launch in 2023. We will be scheduling a special meeting in November because we didn't currently have a meeting scheduled for November because the last Thursday is Thanksgiving. So the CEA board would need to consider approval of Escondido joining Clean Energy Alliance, and then the new board member can be seated on the board. So I will be working on that special meeting. In addition, they would be looking towards a 2023 launch. We're fortunate that they had foresight to release their data to us so that we could begin looking at it and meet the deadline of the amended implementation plan, which will be due to the PUC by the end of the calendar year. So we'll be moving quickly on that. In addition, the city of San Marcos will be discussing joining CEA at a workshop to be held on next week on November the 3rd. And they'll be considering joining Clean Energy Alliance as well. We've had good conversations with staff. We've been answering a lot of questions, and I am optimistic, cautiously optimistic that they will decide to join, and they may be also looking at a 2023 launch. We've had conversations with the city of Vista, who has indicated considering joining CEA, but they would be looking at a 2024 launch. So their timeframe isn't quite as quickly paced as those that are wanting a 2023 launch. I also heard from the City of San Clemente staff that the City Council of the City of San Clemente at its October 19th meeting selected Clean Energy Alliance as their top choice in bringing community choice energy to their communities. And they would also be looking at a 2024 launch. So their next steps are to bring forward consideration of the ordinance to establish a CCA and the resolution to join. So those will be at a future meeting for the City of San Clemente. So very exciting. We've been talking about expansion and thinking about strategies and talking to cities to encourage joining, and those efforts are coming to fruition, and we'll be growing our board here in the next month or so, and then service territory in 2023.
Very good.
Any questions about that before I turn the
Uh,
mic over to our regulatory council? Yes,
Well,
Chair.
I did just want to quickly acknowledge CEA staff for educating and spending so much time with these other cities. I really, really appreciate it. It obviously did bear fruit, and this will be very good for CEA. I also want to acknowledge several groups that continually advocate on behalf of the CCAs and CEA in particular. I'd like to thank the Sierra Club, the Hammond Climate Solutions, Clean Earth for Kids, and also the Climate Action Campaign, as well as several members of the public. And I can't name all the people, but also in particular, some people from our Citizens Advisory Group continually go to these meetings and advocate on our behalf. And so I really do appreciate that. It's been a huge joint effort with everybody encouraging all these other cities. And I'm really excited that we are going to be bringing choice and cleaner energy to all of North County cities. So thank you to everyone. I know everyone was involved, so thank you so much. Board Member Drucker.
Yep, Barbara, we obviously have a year or two to purchase the energy. Is doubling our energy size going to be, how difficult do you think that's going to be?
It won't be. We don't anticipate any concerns or issues with being able to procure the needed power for to serve these customers. We're still in a, I would say we would still be considered a smaller CCA, although we're doubling in size. And we don't anticipate there being challenges or concerns about procuring our necessary products.
Great,
And
good
you're right.
job.
We have a year of planning, and we have a good team that supports us in that respect with procurement. We've got what I think are the best in the state, and they'll make sure that we get what's needed at the most competitive pricing.
Good job. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I wonder if Trepepe Smith, I know they'll help us in this year and ahead to educate, but I'm wondering if right now they send out such wonderful media messages to us. I'm wondering if we should add the Escondido City Council as well and sort of get the word out at how to get to the Twitter feed, the Facebook, and the other things that we have out there. So that might be something to start already.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. Also want to remind everyone, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, even though you're on the meetings, please do so. Encourage your friends and family to subscribe. We're trying to grow our subscribership on all of our social media. But on YouTube, once we hit a threshold of 100 subscribers, we can have a unique name for our YouTube channel, which will help people to find us. So putting that out there to the public to please subscribe.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Better subscribe. All right. Very good news. All right.
Vice Chair has her hand up.
Oh,
Chair.
I did not see it. Sorry about that. Please go.
No worries at all. Yeah, similarly, I just wanted to make a plug for the different media channels. So thanks for doing that, Ms. Boswell. And then also just wanted to say thank you to our entire staff. Really exciting news to hear that Escondido is joining us. And of course, hoping that others will follow suit in the near future. So just wanted to say thank you for all the hard work as well.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, are we ready for our
Okay.
regulatory report with Mr. Ty Tosdall?
Ready to go ahead if it's all right with
Ready?
you.
You're ready.
Thank you, Mr. I'll share my screen if that's all right. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. I want to circle back with you today about a couple of customer protection measures, excuse me. But first, let me take the opportunity to say congratulations to all of you. And also thank you to all of you, Ms. Boswell in particular, for all the efforts that were made. I also know, having been involved in some of these launches, that recruiting cities is no easy endeavor. There are many pitfalls in doing so, and it's just not an easy lift. So thank you for all the hard work and the effort that you all put forward. So congrats. Circling back on some of the customer protection issues before the California Public Utilities Commission, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the customer debt proceeding and the percentage of income payment plan, and then a couple of other updates on other matters that we've been active on over the past month. So customer debt, you may recall that the Public Utilities Commission launched a program to assist customers who were in arrears on their payments. And that plan set some requirements for customers to pay up their past debt and resume good standing with the utility. And so customarily in the utility tariffs, when there is a delinquent account and a partial payment's made, that payment goes to the utility instead of the CCA program. It's referred to as the waterfall method. A big issue in this proceeding was how those partial payments from customers who are participating in this customer debt program would be made. You can envision that it would be somewhat problematic for the CCA programs to not have access to any of the funds that were any of the customer revenue that was being made on partial payments in the circumstances that we find ourselves today, where many customers are behind on their bills due to COVID and the economic consequences of the pandemic. So there was a very broad-based effort here on part of the CCA community to try and change this payment methodology, and I'm pleased to report that the commission issued a proposed decision approving proportional payments between CCA programs and IOUs for those partial payments when they come in. So this is certainly a victory for us, something we fought very hard for on an interim basis. And then as far as the program parameters are concerned as well. So Ms. Boswell has been very involved in this too, and knows this issue very well. So I'm sure she can answer questions as well as myself about this, but we look forward to this decision being formally approved shortly. And I think that the risk associated with this particular program, the financial risk has been mitigated substantially by this decision. So happy to report that one out. In addition, and in parallel to the customer debt program, the commission also initiated a percentage of income payment plan. This plan is much smaller. It's set at 15,000 customers total statewide. And it is a pilot program essentially to demonstrate whether income-based rates are a viable means of protecting low income and other customers who may be at risk of disconnection. And so the bill caps would be set based on the federal poverty guidelines in two separate tiers. But as I mentioned, the program size is very small. So SCG&E's entire service territory is set at 1,000 customers, which means that the potential participation of CEA customers is likely to be very small. So you don't anticipate that there will be any sort of major financial consequences. we did, there was early questions about whether CCA program participation would be allowed, and we were able to get some clarification that it will be. So the steps required for participation are that we provide notice to SDG&E, and we have done so. We serve that notice on the service list, and then there is going to be a working group that's developed to work out some further details of this program, and we'll be participating in that. And then subsequently, there'll be a joint advice letter that's required on the part of CEA and the utility SDG&E. So we will continue to brief you about that. I do think this is an interesting pilot program to keep tabs on, because it is a pretty substantial departure from the rate structure that we have now, which is cost-based, essentially. So we will definitely report back about this, and this is another one of those areas where our fearless CEO is very engaged and very knowledgeable. So I'm sure that she will be bringing in information as well. So a couple of other items I wanted to just provide some recent updates on. You may recall that there's an old decision from 2019 that we've talked about a couple of times that ordered all of the load serving entities or LSEs across the state, including the utilities, the CCA programs, and the direct access providers to purchase system resource adequacy to meet 3,300 megawatt long-term need that was identified in the integrated resource plan proceeding. The problem for us with that is that, of course, we didn't exist at that time. And so we weren't included in this order. You may be asking yourself why we would want to be included in this order, since it's an order to go out and buy power. And the reason is that the system RA is a valuable commodity, and it's something that we would need anyway to show for our requirements. So we have been trying to push for a solution to potentially get access to some of the system RA in this that was ordered in this decision that SDG&E is actually procuring. The cost recovery, the further detail here, including how the costs are to be recovered and how the benefits were going to be allocated, were supposed to be developed under what's called a modified cost allocation mechanism, which is a mouthful. But unfortunately, that was never developed. So we are in limbo, so to speak, and we have been undertaking some advocacy efforts to get further clarity around that system RA. So we've done some outreach to similarly situated programs. We've had some meetings with the Energy Division, and we have set up a meeting with the staff of one of the commissioners, which is an ex parte, considered an ex parte meeting as well, to continue to press this issue. So more later on this subject, but I did want to update you on our efforts since we had talked about this previously. And then one final item, I want to let you all know that in just a few days here, in the energy resource and recovery account proceeding, which is where SDG&E's energy rates and the PCIA are set, as well as the eco choice rates for SDG&E. There will be an important date, I guess, or deadline, and that is that on November 5th, what's called the November testimony update will be issued by SDG&E, and it gives us the best advanced indicator of what SDG&E's rates are going to be, what the PCIA is going to be, and what the SDG&E's eco choice rates are going to be, which we monitor as well. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up. You'll be hearing more about that, but in terms of next year's rates, this is our best advanced look at them. So we will be circulating some information about that when the November testimony update is posted. So with that, I have no further updates to provide, but I'd be happy to answer questions from anyone as usual.
Thank you very much for that update. Always something new, I think, every time.
I try.
All right, any questions from the board? I don't see any. Very good. All right, well, that was it, right? That was item number 2. So I think we are on to board member requests for future agenda items. Does anybody have any requests? I was curious about whether we should schedule to talk about where, if in the future, let's say we go back January, whenever we go back, where would we like to meet? We had been meeting, rotating cities, and I understand that that's a little bit complicated for the public to know where we're going to be, and complicated. I remember Ty once went to the wrong place, so I guess it is very complicated. So
I confess that I did.
so we might want to think about that, and we might want to do that after we have our Escondido board member, or we might not. I don't know what you guys feel, but I don't know if there's any support for that. Talking about that sooner rather than later.
No, I think we need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm open to talking about it too. Yeah.
All right. And Barbara, do we need to know from our cities whether or not they have an interest in, and what kind of costs that would be? Or I guess we can't really talk about that, but I wanted to see if maybe we need to find out some preliminary information before the meeting.
As part of preparing a staff report for this topic, I'll research all of that and bring options to the board for consideration.
Okay, and then we will find out very soon when our November meeting will be. I take it. Do we need to meet before the 10th, before Escondido has their second reading, or does that not matter? Okay. All right, very good. All right, I think we are adjourned until we find out when our special meeting is in November. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.